Welcome back to my channel, this time for a review of an old Canon FD lens, the Canon FD 50mm f1.4 lens. A lens that I have used on my old Canon FD cameras for many years, and I've owned this lens for many years and I've always been happy about it. But how does it perform on a modern digital camera with a high resolution like the Hasselblad X2D? Let's have a look at that. I would like this lens to work perfectly on the X2D camera, but of course it's an old construction and maybe sharpness is not right up there with the Hasselblad sensor. But if I could use the f1.4 setting to get really creamy out of focus backgrounds, it would be nice. It does vignette a little bit, and it has an odd behavior because it vignettes less when you focus closely. That is not what I've seen with many other lenses, but that's the behavior of this lens. But it doesn't vignette so much, so it is usable, but let's have a look at some images. If we look at the sharpness of this lens here at f1.4, let's look in the middle. Definitely some sharpness, but also not very contrasty lens. Another thing is that the vignetting is not very pronounced, so that's quite a nice thing. If we look to the corners, we see that the sharpness is almost equivalent to the center sharpness, and contrast is also a bit low here. But if we compare this to the f8 setting, now let's look in the middle. We see that sharpness is very good here and contrast is much higher. So f8 is a good setting for this lens. And if we move to the corners, we see that here sharpness at f8 is very good actually. If we move all the way to f16, we see that sharpness still is good here, though it has declined a bit due to diffraction, and the same goes for the center of the image. It's not as good as at f8, so in the middle of the aperture range we're at the best of this lens. f16 is starting to decline in quality. So what can I say to conclude on this lens? Well, I like that it has a lot of things going for it. It is sharp already from 2.8 to f11, and sharpness in natural scenes, I find that it is usable already from f2. But the reason to use such a lens is, of course, that it has this very strong background separation that you can get at the f1.4, and the background is very nicely rendered. It also has nice colors, and if you have stopped it down a little, the contrast is also very good. But its contrast is of course not very good at f1.4. And then it's a small and very lightweight lens. That's also a nice thing. So it fits very well on the Hasselblad cameras. There are of course also things that speak against this lens, and well, I only find that the center is sharp at f1.4. The rest of the image is pretty blurred. And diffraction set in at f16, well, that's pretty normal for a lot of lenses, so I don't find that this is a big con for this lens. But vignetting is something you have to cope with. It is visible and sometimes is strong and gives a hard and unremovable vignette, so you have to crop your image somewhat. But if you crop it to a 2:3 aspect ratio, most of the vignette will disappear. Contrast is also, as I mentioned, a bit low from 1.4 to around 2.8, but I don't find that it's disturbing. So all in all, I like this lens. I hope you liked the review of the Canon FD 50mm f1.4 lens, a lens that I have shot for many years on my older cameras, and that I also think is pretty good on the X2D. Of course, the sharpness is not up to the level of the Hasselblad sensor, the 100 megapixel sensor, but it performs decently at least. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel and also hit the like button. Thank you very much for this time, and bye for now.